lunch based on how many are going to doze off. Yeah, we won't let you. We'll talk about the failures, right? So it's going to make it a little bit exciting. Yeah, Ramu, promise. Okay, good. So I think that we have very small group. That's a great advantage, right? We don't need to be very formal and all. We can make it very informal, casual discussion. More Q&A. So we put enough time for a Q&A side. Otherwise, most of the time that we end up doing monologue, right? And all the time there are 5 hands will be raised that will say that we are running out of time. So we are going to leave enough room for Q&A, but during our discussion also interrupt, ask questions so that we'll make it as interactive as possible. Yeah, great. So with that, I'll invite my great panel. So we have Ramu. So please join Ramu. Ramu runs this Center for Sustainable Agriculture in Andhra, Telangana. They have promoted a lot of cooperative societies and helping farmers. And very interestingly, he's going to talk about something called a consumer cooperatives, right? I think it's very, very rare in the country. So usually we talk from the supplier, producer side, and then we go try to understand the market. But what if we keep the market in your hand? I think that's what they've tried a very interesting experiment. They're going to talk about, Ram will talk about it. Onkar. So I see Manoja joined. So Social Alpha is a very popular organization in social development sector. All of you know. So Onkar takes care of the livelihood section of Social Alpha. They have done a fantastic initiative around taking some of the innovations in the country to the market. So he will probably share some of the very interesting failures from the ecosystem enabler perspective, right? What happened? And then we have Devika. So I met Chandrasekharan 5 years back. He was just trying to fiddle with building drones. And I just asked him, I'm meeting him after the 5 years. He said they've sold 500 drones. So that 400, sorry, right? Yeah, yeah. So it's amazing progress, what they have done. So, but again, taking the technology, into the market, what are the failures that they faced? It took 4 years, 5 years, but still staying course. That's very, very important. So what happened? We'll hear from Devika, and then we have Prajwal is there. So he is has running this company called Ozol. So what they do is about the transplantation of paddy, right? So we'll talk about that deeper. So before we start, thank you for joining, guys, and thanks everyone. So before we start, right, this agriculture is a huge area, and we have only 1.5 hours. That's not enough to cover, right? So we're going to probably keep it very focused on what we can. The 2-3 problems which I've seen in is about agriculture in very interesting area where in the whole world the only person does not put the MRP on his produce is the farmer, right? Every product you take buy anywhere there is an MRP, right? There is a price fixed. The price is fixed by the person who produces. But you pick up a tomato, there's no MRP on the tomato, right? So this is the that's one interesting thing for us to start looking at about where is this problem, where is this failure happening, is it impacting the farmer or the market or someone else in the middle. So we have Ramu, which we have seen the farmer side plus the consumer side. Let's see, try to understand. The other part in agriculture is about problem is about everybody is called them as farmer. A farmer with 2 acre also called a farmer. Farmer with 1,000 acre also calls a farmer. Yeah. So that's another challenge that we have. We don't have a SME ministry, MSME ministry like we have in the industries to divide up that. Okay, no, I will focus on smallholder farmers. So Acumen, I'm also partner at. So we put a fund just focusing on climate resilience agriculture, right? So this kind of entrepreneurs applied, they were all solving the problems of 20 acre, 30 acre farmer, right? Agriculture farmer, right? And 50 acres and all. Then we have to add the word smallholder farmers. Then applications have dwindled down, right? Very, very less number of people looking at the smallholder farm. So this is another challenge in the agriculture is about the kind of a spectrum that we have. And India, 50% of the farmers are below 2 acres. So, but very less number of people are able to take the innovations there, and that is where we are going to see about that as well. The spectacular failures happening in terms of innovation. So 5 years back, I was talking to this Chandrasekharan on this Fuselage because This is what we are trying to address. During the pandemic, what happened was we saw that, right, thousands of people going back to their villages. So I was putting out saying that Bharat saying bye to India. So I call Bharat as a billion people, right? So that's where I got a call from PSA office saying that, okay, what can you do for this people who are going back? I said, let's not call them migrants, right? They'll say that migrants are going back, rural migration, reverse. But when I came back from US, we call them the reverse brain drain, right? But we call them as migrants. We said that is also reverse brain drain from the cities to the villages. So how can we probably take the technologies to them so that the youth in the villages left because they hate what their parents did because that put them in poverty. But you give them some kind of a technology. Technology does not mean that given an app. Technology is about, okay, make a jaggery instead of selling sugarcane, right? Or make a curcumin out of your turmeric. You sell the curcumin instead of selling the turmeric. So do some value addition. So we collected around 1,000 technologies across our institution, right? IITs, ICAR, CSAR labs, and they're all collecting dust because they understood the problem, they developed the technology, but did not reaching to the people. So that is what this whole session is about. Why this innovation developed across the crores of money spent on creating this innovation, not reaching out. So one initiative that we have done was we said we will put up this one place, Kisan Mitra platform, and it's in Manthan platform. It's available now. We had these scientists, right, the innovators come and speak about what their innovation is without any middleman, right? We said that we have to reach out to the farmer. It's still a challenge, right? We're not able to reach the farmer at all because we have signed up with KVKs. There are 700 plus KVKs across the country. We sold the KVKs, we bring the farmers into the center, and we will have the scientists directly talking to them about what the innovation is. So let them understand firsthand without any barriers. So there also will have problem. They will bring, in the names of farmers, we'll hardly see some farmers. There are few places we saw farmers. Most of the time, who ended up coming is about their employees will be sitting there asking questions. Then we saw so language as a barrier, right? A professor from IIT Madras, Sanjay Mahajan, talking about his technology, which about put it in a mobile tractor, take it to the farm, and the farmer can put a sugarcane this side, jaggery would come this side, right? He's talking about technology in English cannot be understood. So language was the next challenge, right? So so we did English, NSRCL did the English broadcast. Then the next week we will do Telugu. BCT, Bhagavatulla Charitable Trust, translates that in Telugu. That was done, streamed, right? And then we were reaching out people in Telangana, Andhra, then listen in Telugu. And in Tamil, VIT came in and they translated in Tamil that entire Zooming. So we started looking at the language side. But still the adoption is very, very less because we ended up seeing that more of the startups coming and started selling their technologies rather than the youth adapting to the technology. So again, very lot of initiative. We put a lot of effort in building this platform. Complete failure because the technology did that. They got an idea about it, but we need somebody to handle. So that is again a fantastic failure in terms of putting up. So that is the challenge that we always have. Build a platform, put your technology. I'm sure everybody will download, start using it. That never happens. So there's be a lot of effort. So after 3-4 years of learning, now we said, okay, we need somebody on the ground to handhold. So I'm just working on initiative with PSA office that are taking to the next level. We call it the ROOTAX Smart Village Center. We just launched one in Sonipat. We said that we will put the center there. We will put an employee there, and there will be a TV with the technology displayed. Anybody could walk in. He will explain what the technology. If the entrepreneur walks in, probably a youth says, I want this technology, then the coyote would give it for free. But he'll say, where would I make it? So then they have to handhold somebody to make it locally so that you could buy the machine and start using it, right? So the challenge now. So the first center we opened, we put 30 technologies. All the people who come in, they never bother about the 30 technologies, right? They said, give me soil testing, right? And I have a problem about waste in our villages. I have a problem. Uttarakhand people said that we have problems of monkey. Solve the monkey problem. I don't want fertilizer making machine. So here is again failure in terms of that what we think the people want. We've never understood the ground. I think that is where many of these innovations fail miserably. So now we have to change the entire model, saying that okay, 40% we have to listen to them, right? The center is open, they'll come with say, okay, monkey problem, we'll search around monkey problem. Selco has one startup, they are working with this wildlife fencing, right, with the ultrasound and all. So we are now taking that technology there. So this is about every step that we take. We don't understand about what the reality is. India is a very diverse country. Every 50 kilometer, everything changes. Your food habit changes, your language changes, your dialect changes, your dress changes. If we do not customize, we do not look at what is needed for the region, we may have amazing technology. These are all technology developed by the scientists. There is a technology and IHR. The scientists worked for like 40 years, right? Awesome. But market, okay, how do we take it to the farmer? That is going to be the part today we are going to talk about. So I'll just stop here with that. I'll open up with Ramu because he's going to talk about farmer side of it, right? How he's able to promote this farmers organization, what are the failures that they've seen, and then they thought probably to help the farmers, we need to go to the market side. So market side, they produce the society for consumers. That's a fantastic initiative. Look very, very innovative, but did that work?
I'm talking about an experience of creating markets for farmers. So, as a consumer cooperative, we started in 2009. Between 2004 and 2009, we had good successes about working with, I'm an agriculture scientist, so working with farmers in improving the extension system, moving towards organic natural farming was a big success. And then there were a lot of stories about our work. So I'm not getting into that. So riding on a success, we thought we should also solve the market problem. And we thought bringing in more innovations will help us. So couple of innovations we tried was about setting up a consumer cooperative where consumers put in advance payments to the produce they want to buy, so that we have a buyers who are regular. So instead of trying to open a shop and then looking for people, can we have a shop which is set up? Second, we thought we could deliver at home. So I'm talking about 2009, which is very, at that time we don't have these all Swiggies and Amazons. So we were delivering at home, and so we thought we deliver at vegetables at home so that people can get the vegetables. And we have a fantastic product which is pesticide free, so there is a demand, and we are known, so people trust us. So that was the assumptions on which we built it. But what we couldn't take into account was the systemic problems which are already existing in the system, which makes agriculture itself is a agriculture marketing itself is a problem. One, the the price surplus between cost of production and marketing is very low in this country. So it's very low. So building a market model on this is very, very difficult. Second, we also realized the small businesses, we all thought there are too many middlemen who are adding only cost, not value, so we can replace all of them. We didn't realize they're all very passionate about their work and also skillful and work with a very narrow margin. So we thought we can replace them and then move on and then directly reach out to the consumers. Both didn't work out. And we didn't account for the investments. So we thought consumers will put in time and money. So we could reach out about 250 people and then we could get investments from them. So their annual consumption was the investment they made, and then we used it to create market. And 1 year we ran very successfully. But the moment we started scaling up, then the problem came in. We couldn't mobilize more people who can come in and put the investments. And we also couldn't try in terms of reaching out to the consumers. At that point of time, the difficulty what we faced was in terms of say in the residential apartment, people are not used for deliveries at home. So the residential houses, I go, we take all the vegetables there. Then they say, I go to the say fifth floor. Then they say they are not there. So we have to get everything back. We cannot leave it there. And also the welfare associations and are not habituated for this, so they don't allow you to go through the lifts. So we had to carry the bag and then walk onto the lift kind of thing. So these were many of these issues.
So that doesn't look like current India, huh?
It's not like current India. I'm talking about 2009.
Yeah.
And also another interesting thing we realized, and then it's a fact even today. while we all say farmers are not innovative and then they don't take up innovations, all our experience is that if you explain clearly, many farmers take. Say, my failure at the farmers level is much lower compared to a consumer level. So at the consumer level, everybody says, I want organic food, and then the moment we make it available while buying, it's extremely difficult. We have experimented with the pricing also. So normally our pricing model was that over cost of cultivation, it should be at least 50%. So our entire production design was that costs will go down. Second, it should be at least 15% over the local market price for the farmers, and 50% of the consumer price goes to the farmer. So that was the business model we tried out. There were days when I sold tomatoes at 5 rupees, people bargained for 2.5 rupees.
Yes.
Consumers. And it became a very habit. And we also didn't realize that we need to explain the issue better, because always I compare with the market price, but that market price is rigged. So we don't explain that. So unless we create a model around these things, it didn't work out. That's what our learnings were. Then we also realized, so this whole model started with learning from various countries where farmers were selling, farmers markets where farmers were selling directly to the consumers. And we tried that also. We tried farmers selling directly to the consumers, but the transaction costs are huge. Then we got into the cooperative model, where farmers are also organized into cooperatives, consumers are also organized into cooperatives. So that's how this whole thing happened. Yeah, I'll stop here.
So
Probably
this,
I'll
can I
listen
pick
from
on
you.
this
What
question?
we did and all
Yeah.
is all written, so I don't want to say that. But this is a
Can I pick on the question on this organic thing, right? There is a big fad about the word organic. Everybody talks about organic. So I'm at NSRCell, I made a lot of these startups. Two of my startup portfolio are funded, failed miserably in organic space, right? So what do you think is the problem with the organic space? One of the thing I always say that there are more people selling organic than buying organic. Yeah. So the person will say that, she will come and say that I want to start an organic supply of X and Y. I say that, what did you have for breakfast? Was it organic? No, I couldn't find. That's why I'm going to start a venture. Yeah. So this is the problem. I saw that
Yeah.
one. But why do you think this organic thing is not taking off? Yeah.
So, see, in India, the area under organic farming is growing by around 23%.
Okay.
Market is growing by 37%. It's growing significantly. It's not
Okay.
that it's not growing.
Right.
See, what happens is the entry level barrier into agriculture and agriculture markets is very low. So, anyone can get into it. Without even domain expertise. Like I also got into it. So anyone can get into it. Whoever knows farmers or whoever knows consumers, like every one of us knows, we thought getting into it is easier. But it also requires domain expertise and also understanding the context. What sells in a particular context. I think that's where the issue lies. Second is, till recently there were no regulatory systems in the country where to ensure if we are making a claim that you are organic, it should be verified. So very recently all that regulatory systems have come in. So gradually things are improving.
Sure.
Also in India, another major problem is when we think about market, we think all these kirana stores and are all useless. We need to have a link to the supermarkets, and the whole share of supermarkets is very low, as you can see, just about 6-7%.
Yeah.
So no innovations have been made how we can work with the small entrepreneurs. I think that's the innovation which was required.
Yeah. So this is still the challenge, I think, for you to maybe look at as well, that the space organic, it's growing, but we have not seen kind of startups doing very well in organic space. I have one investment in Kerala. This entrepreneur was trying to provide safe to eat vegetables to farmers, right? And also encouraging the local grown vegetables, so that if somebody asks, say, give me Fiji apple, we'll say that the lychee from nearby village has a similar level of nutrients, you want to buy that. So he was working on carbon, and he was looking about locally grown products, so that there's not traveling much, but failed miserably, right? Because what is one of the part of the thing is about the cost, the price part of it. So this is where one of the challenges, maybe it's a challenge for all of you to start figuring it out, as that how do we solve the problem of this price discovery in organic space. So then if you just put things on a brown bag, people think it's an organic. But how do we ensure that this is purely organic? and also why the price is justified. Can I probably spend that much money? So why this still there's a challenge.
So that's what we are very sticky about the prices.
Ah,
Unfortunately, when we are spending money, when it comes to the food, we are very sticky about it. So unless it becomes a fad, like say I am ready to spend anything on chia,
yeah.
not on
Ah,
amaranthus. So like that. So if you look at
so like
that's a
how
kind
it
of
got to
fad
compromise.
is what is going on. We also tried on export markets. So I just
Yeah.
want to add on. So export markets, we thought domestic market may take time, but let's try out on the export market. Unfortunately, when we look at food market, even if I'm selling in US or UK, it is to the Indians.
Right.
Because no one buys your rice. So if it's Sona Masuri, it's only Andhra Telangana people buy there. If I'm selling my dal, it would be again Indians who is going to buy there. So uh, it's basically expanded local food is basically a local market. So whether we are selling internationally also, it's basically a local market.
So still it's a struggle for you, or you're able to figure out?
No, we could
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah. All right.
slightly differently, and then now we are about 25 crore turnover, and yeah,
Right.
hopefully we'll
Awesome.
break even.
Lovely.
And today at the production level, we are at 3 4 states about working with about a lakh farmers,
Okay.
and we are also into we could establish a guarantee system, sustain a participatory guarantee system, which is now approved
And
by
the
the government as an
consumer
organic
society, is
certification
it
agency.
working? Okay.
Huh?
Consumer
Consumer
society.
cooperative,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's what I said.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't focus. We couldn't focus much.
Hmm.
We are now trying to revive it again. So it stopped at the 250 level,
Okay.
but the store is running. It's profitable, but we couldn't scale up
So
that
there was
particular
one
store.
consumer society. Is it Bombay? It's successful. What is the
There
name?
are consumer
Yeah.
cooperatives in the country. Grahak Panchayat
Okay.
in Mumbai is one of the very successful cooperative. So I feel one of the failures from my side as an assumption, I would say, trying to work both with producers and
Ah. Okay.
consumers together,
Yeah.
building a cooperatives
So okay.
was a wrong thing.
Right.
Probably
Right.
I should have partnered with someone who works with consumers. It would have been much better because
Yeah.
both interests.
Yeah.
One agency trying to solve both problems, I think,
Hmm.
is not a good
Solution.
idea.
Yeah.
So I think
So this consumer society seems to be a very, very interesting innovation. If somebody interested in organic space, that could be one area to look at. That how do you build the trust part, right? If people will say that there is some advertisement comes on chocolate, Amitabh Bachchan will say, enjoy your Diwali with chocolate, we'll take it. But what is in it? Is it really palm oil, or it is shea butter, or what is cocoa? Nobody questions. But the moment you say somebody is an organic, there is a question comes with why, what is this organic about? Because then everybody is calling it about. So there's one of the failures that many of the entrepreneurs having is about this is the space is not clear, right? Anybody can organic, but government now is tightening the screws that you need a certification if you're using the word organic. So that's why you saw that now people are smart. So they change the word, right? Pesticide free, fresh, right? And things like that. You add element into that, put things in a brown bag, then we believe that. So this is a failure. It's happening from the society perspective, right? So that's what I was very kind of picking him on the consumer society model, right? Why it is not reached the level that as a society, as a consumer group, I come together, I will ensure that this product is valid as what they claim, and I'm willing to pay the premium for it. It's not happening yet in the country yet. The way we were explaining, like the one of the organic store I've invested a few years back, 20 years back, he started organic in Bangalore. Bangalore is very progressive in terms of organic, but during pandemic, he's almost shut down, right? Because he never developed the online model of it. But after pandemic, he could not sustain because before pandemic, here around 600 families fanatically buys from it, right? When we have an event at the farm, the 600 families will show up, and we have 1.2 million people in this place, right? Only 600 families will show up, and they are very fanatic about investing and buying an organic. The pandemic, people gone back and all that. That group never came back. So this is a challenge that we are seeing in terms of consumer thing. It's not figured out yet. It's a failure. Yes, we need to figure out as a consumer how do we motivate, bring the consumer together. It's still a challenge out there for us to solve. Yeah, thanks,
yeah.
Ram.
So
Yes,
just to
okay,
add
yeah.
on, I think the if you are to solve the problem of food system, it's the consumer level change is something which is very critical because the entire food system works for the consumer.
Hmm.
So even farmer is a part of the
So we
food.
fail to understand them.
We
Yeah?
fail to understand
Or
them
us
and then
consumer.
change their behavior. We always wanted to change the behavior of the producer,
Yeah.
but not onto the consumer side, because the food system finally it's what the consumer makes the choice, where they buy, what they buy.
Yeah.
Is what influences the production system.
Understood. So,
Just to give you one example, and then,
yeah.
then I'll stop here. So in Hyderabad, we were calculating if every one of us eat 3 times a rice a day,
Hmm.
from idli to
Yeah,
dinner,
yeah.
biryani, the kind of water we are consuming as part of it, water footprint of Hyderabad probably is equal to about a Polavaram dam. We don't want Polavaram dam to be built, but we all want rice to eat. I think it's not going to work. So as a
Yeah.
consumers, I think engaging with the consumers and then changing the
Yeah.
narrative, I think is the most
Awesome.
critical thing
Correct.
in this whole story. And consumers can be a good player in terms of changing it.
Okay.
I think that's all.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Ram. Good. So we'll go to innovation side. I'll get Onkar. So Onkar is going to talk about from the ecosystem perspective, right? How a ecosystem enabler is trying to take technologies to the market, and what are the failures that they had. Yeah.
A very good afternoon to everyone, and heartfelt gratitude to Selco Foundation for giving this opportunity to talk about failure. It's been almost 18 years working as a development professional, but I never got a chance to talk about my failure. Though I talked about my failure, but it was closed room discussions only, not in public forums. Uh, so we work to bridge the gap between science and society. We work very closely with the innovation ecosystem, and we work very closely with communities also. And we are taking the innovation to the communities so that smallholder farmers and communities can get the benefit out of it, and they will also have multiple choices so that they can improve their lives and livelihood sustainably. While we work with innovators, we always realized they work in controlled conditions while they are innovating the product, while they are developing the product. But when the same innovator is entering into the market, they are becoming the entrepreneurship. They see a lot of hardship because they work in very uncontrolled kind of environment where the market, where the entire ecosystem is very brutal, not I would say ready to welcome them. So we try to bridge that gap and address that market failure. It is about, I'm going to talk about our initial journey when we were designing such kind of program way back in 2018-19. So we were designing certain programs where we were taking some innovations which were at various levels. Some were at prototype stage, some were at very early stage, and some were already in the market, but they were looking for the larger market in the entire country. So we designed the program in a way so that we could include the entire ecosystem, and we can get the support from the ecosystem, and we can take them in the markets as soon as possible. But it never happens actually. So the I will talk about the series of the failure that we encountered and that we did. One is the journey started with starting selecting the wrong kind of innovations and the startups. So we have realized a lot of innovators who claim that they are ready to enter into the market, but unfortunately their slides were decks were talking about TRL 7, TRL 6, but they were at TRL 1 or 2. So that assessment gone terribly wrong from our side. We did not do
Can you just explain what is
significant.
TRL?
So it is about technology readiness level. So if startup is saying that they are at TRL 7, it means they already have tested their prototype and they are ready to enter into the market. So we I mean, trusted those claims, and we did not do significant due diligence. And when we entered with them in the market, we terribly failed. Another thing was, I mean, this was very, I would say, new kind of initiative where you are working with the communities whose affordability is not very high. Uh, you are trying to create multiple options for the community who have never seen such a market coming to them to support their lives and livelihood. Another the challenge that we were facing, uh, we were not able to find the good people who can work uh, to coordinate with innovators and community. So we got a lot of people who were having very good understanding of the communities, but their entire journey or entire experience was on the philanthropy or charity, including me. So we used to understand the community very well, but we were not understanding the market based engagement with the community. And there were a lot of people who were understanding the innovation very well, but they had very less visibility how to take these innovations to the market. So I mean, we struggled a lot to get this combination so that we percolate, we help these startups and communities in the entire journey. So that was the another thing we felt. We were backing a lot on the uh, civil society organization, farmer producer companies, but we did not realize or we did not factored in if we want to uh, work with the FPOs, we also need to factor in lot of capacity building of them, because FPO ecosystem is also a kind of a startup for our country. So while you are taking new technologies, new opportunities to them, you have to make them ready to understand the value of those technology and be ready to adopt those technologies. And while we were working with lot of so no offense to civil society organizations, but we tried to ride on the organizations who are living on the charity only, and we were expecting them to generate the businesses for the startup. So that was also one of the failure we have encountered. Also on the market part, so we thought if we are bringing good solutions, then those solutions will always be welcomed by the customers. But we were failed to incorporate multiple factors: product market fit, price point, financing system to their customers. So those things were also missing in the design of that phase of the program. The most important things which I think we all will um uh, accept is we cannot scale up anything without policymakers and government. So what we did, we thought, we made an assumption, if we are taking the world class technologies for the farmers or for the states which are vulnerable, they will welcome us with the open arms. They will welcome us. They will immediately give the uh, uh, best opportunities in their estate. But unfortunately, what happened when we started discussing with them, we have brought such technologies, we have brought such entrepreneurs and innovation ecosystem, we realized there was a lot of resistance from their side. I will give you one or two examples. One of our startup, they made world class product, and when we went to the state, so they developed a product which was helping the farmers to protect their crops from the drought. So when we reached out to the state, we told them to adopt that product for the arid region. They told me a list of the compliance. Okay, so you have to go through this process, and that product was already certified by the national agency. So they told ki you have to go through our process only to validate the product. So it was for me like, you have got the MBA degree from IIM, then you have to go to the primary school to get your degree.
Yeah.
So that kind of experience we had during that journey. So that even that a startup was able to commercialize their product in Japan and US before the India. So, so those kind of assumptions we made terribly wrong. Though we tried to rectify a lot of things in next phase of the program, but still lot of challenges we are encountering
I think
in
there's
that
one
journey.
point I want to pick up, this the civil society thing. Right? A lot of people is about what we assume is that, okay, I'm awesome, I created this fantastic technology that's going to change what farmers' life tomorrow, and then we'll say we don't have time to just go to the market and spend time in a village to understand how it's going to solve. We'll just dump it on some NGOs and say that NGO, here is you take care, and then we'll blame the NGO that they did not do. So this is the same challenge beyond Kisan Mitra as well. So what does this big learning, the failure, the assumption that we have is that the NGOs are jobless, they're sitting in villages waiting for us to come, right? But the assumption is that, right? We go there, but they're already doing some work in them. They've
So
taken money from someone. Yeah,
sir, I will
yeah,
differ from this
yeah,
point. So basically, assumption was not that ki they will be sitting and waiting for us.
yeah,
It was more like if we are complementing their work, they will be more accommodating to welcome us.
yeah.
But unfortunately, I mean, we also did a lot of wrong things. We should also align their incentives
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So
exactly.
we were
Yeah,
not
yes,
able
yeah,
to align their incentive.
yeah,
We were just thinking ki if we are providing the opportunities and
yeah,
option to them
yeah,
to improve the life of their communities, definitely they will adopt. But they also need lot of rigor and lot of effort to take those solutions with the farmers. So they also need lot of support and incentive. So we were not able to factor in that
absolutely.
aspect.
That's the point, the resource, right? Because there is what are the resource the village, the NGO has, that's for a particular purpose. They've already budgeted it, that somebody funded it, they have to give the impact back to them. If you just go to them tomorrow and say that take my innovation, it's awesome, it is going to also help to the farmer. Even last week I heard that from one of the government officials. Oh, this NGO that you connected, they refuse to take it up. Okay, what they're doing, their job is to, help the farmers, and I have a technology that's going to help the farmers. Why they have not taken it? I said, they have a job to do, they have a day job, and you are giving another work to them. Then give them a budget or a resource so that they're able to accommodate. Is it aligning with what their vision or not? So this is a big challenge that we have in taking the technology forward in the rural side, especially with the farmer. That relying on the local institution, it's fantastic model, but we need to co-develop that with them, right? That let's work it about how we take it about. Otherwise, they have a day job, they're doing something else, and as you said, resource, budget, all that to be allocated. Awesome.
And sir,
Yeah,
another point I would like to flag here. So when we talk about the rural market, I mean, we also need to understand the affordability of the product and financial modeling of the product, because all of us are sitting here. We have if we want to buy, we have multiple lending options. But if a farmer want to buy the Oscillo machine equipment, they will barely get a loan from the any public sector bank, and if any non-banking financial corporation will come to them, they will offer it at the very higher cost. So I mean, that is also one of the biggest challenge while you are developing the rural markets or agriculture markets.
great. Thanks, Onkar. Awesome. So I already referred. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Uh, Good afternoon. I have a question. I think the gaps between the gaps between the startup or innovators and the realities are very well articulated. So in this context, how do you look at this the new policy initiative announced by the government of India, the startup mission? Last year, I think they have announced the Atal mission, where the support from the startups will be given, and whether it is the financial support or the capacity enhancement. So any comments on that?
I would not specifically comment on the, I mean, policies, but one thing that I have understood in my journey, So while you are innovating, while you are developing your product, you will get lot of ecosystem support, including the funds. While you are innovating for deep sciences, you will have a lot of fund, including BIRAC and lot of other funds. But when you enter in the market, then your crucial phase starts. Uh, but unfortunately, we have seen the journeys of the startups. When they enter into the business, they are treated like corporate houses only. So we need to come up with the policy support which can help them to become the businesses. So while we are innovating, I will say we have abundant support available. But while we are entering into the market, I mean, if a startup is getting 1 crore or 2 crore, sometimes we think this is a lot. But with 1 crore, 2 crore support, you cannot even serve the demand of one block. So that is the money. And while you are innovating for the poor and a smallholder, that money is also very challenging till the time you are de-risked by some philanthropic capital or some organization who is not looking for the return on their investment. So I mean, on market side, on entrepreneur side, we need to do lot of efforts, which includes the policy support
Sure.
as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Good. So the point or two things that we need to pick up is, one is on this innovation side, right? So what is happening is about that in people coming to the agriculture sector, especially the modern engineers come to solve agri tech problems, right? So thousands of pitches I hear is about, they'll say that, oh, the farmer is not aware, right? Farmer cannot afford. Farmer does not anything. I just ask them the question that, okay, you're hired in Microsoft tomorrow, and you're not going to say Bill Gates does not know anything, he hired me. I will say, I'm awesome, I got a job in Microsoft. But the moment you work for a farmer solution, you look down on your customer. I said, if you look down on your customer, how are you going to survive? Right? So you need to understand about the affordability, the model. So India is like a sachet country. We cannot afford a 1 liter shampoo for 1,000 rupees, but 1 rupee shampoo for 1 week, right? So we need to figure out business models. So this is what about the failures happen. Many of the innovation going to the market is about, we assume that, okay, I have this technology that people are going to line up and do. So what is this economics there, right? How it is going to take that? Who is going to take it to the market? So this element, a lot of assumptions are coming up. So the other part is about the technology is what we mentioning, right? So when we say that, so Oscillo machine, can it be affordable? So what is the business model? So you go there in marketing term, in business school, we teach in marketing, there are two kind of products, right? One is a pull, one is a push. The push product is like somebody said probably to you that 20 years back, saying that I'm going to give you a phone without a keyboard. So what would I have told, right? Still crazy idea. But somebody gave you a phone without a keyboard, you loved it. This is a push product. So we have zero in the country in push product. Push product required customer awareness. You have to take a leap of faith and give it to them. They would love it. But the most of the things are pull product. What is that? There is a pain, and I have a pain. I want to looking for a solution. I'm going to pull particular solution. So 100% of Indian innovations are all mostly pull. So then, even then, we are a failure about understanding. We understood the pain point, but we have not understood about the other elements, what economics and how we take it to the market. Now we'll hear from Prajwal, the entrepreneur, right? We heard about the enablers, the ecosystem, how try to create this, but an entrepreneur tried on the ground and he see what his failure success. Yeah. So before he started, right, I was talking to him, what is your product? He said rice paddy transplantation, right? The transplantation is, all know about how the paddy is done. So they will put the seed there. When it's grown a little bit, they'll transplant with the distance, right? So this is about usually done by the women because it's very tender. So that's what they're there, and they have to bend like this for 6 hours, 8 hours. They have to do this very tedious job. So that's the problem statement. But what are the almost 80% of the ideas startups have seen? The solution is about a mat model, which is not an Indian system at all. Mat is like you see in the Korean grass. There's a mat of grass is there. You dump the mat and it start growing. I asked him about, is it mat or Indian system? He said Indian system. So that's awesome that it's about understanding what the country would need. So otherwise we just copy what is happening in Israel. Just lot of entrepreneurs come to me with the transplantation or mat model, and they're teaching the farmer how to change the entire model of how they grow paddy. So go. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. I represent I'm founder and CEO of Oscillo Machines Private Limited, and the term Oscillo is come from the oscillations, and our tagline is innovating periodically. And innovation and failure comes hand in hand. And as a innovator mindset, me and my co-founder started. So we always wanted to build a complex machine. So we started to when we choose this paddy transplanter by a NIF foundation. It's not my personal problem. I choose this problem as a statement proposed in a national challenge, and as a Mysorean, I started to check
So
on
that was the
farmers.
school students, no? That was college students as well.
No, it's
That's the
open
Ignite.
for Gandhian Innovation
Anil Gupta,
Inclusive
no?
Gandhian
Yeah.
Innovation Inclusive Challenge
Awesome. Very good.
2012.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued by it, and when I inquired about the farmer, even though the transplanter machines are available, why can't we go with that? And then I learned about the Japanese way of technology is there, and it's very hard to change because agriculture is a collective wisdom. We can't change immediately anything right after. So we tried to develop our own model. So as a college project, we want to build a complex, not a simple. So we went with that, and when we incorporated a company and we got some funds, we built a Ravan kind of a machine, 10 row, which has a 16 sensors. Then we terribly failed because when we entered in a field, we can't push it, we can't do anything at all. We whatever the imagination is there in our head is not translating. So the problem when we done this iteration for 4 5 months, and then we realized that we shouldn't go for the complex. Then we went back on drawing board. All the things we shattered out. Then we designed a simple machine, which actually there is a phase think outside of the box. We did opposite. We started to think inside of the box. And then we got some idea and traction on innovation path, and sir told we when we started we thought farmers don't know anything about technology, and then when we include them in that process, we got some feedback, and now we are continuously doing that. And now our farmers are like first breakers of machine. We whatever we prototype we will give them and tell them to break it as much as possible so that we can get a first batch ready. So that is a iteration and thinking process change after the 2 years of our incorporation by the consistent failure by our thinking process maybe. And then luckily we are able to change our mindset in that process. And another thing I want to notify here, the gestation period for this farm mechanization development is quite high, and the trial period, iteration period is very short. For suppose if you take a paddy transplanter we were building, we can build for next 6 months, and if you want to go for the field trials, it's a short duration of 40 days. Then we have to choose the location of the other to cover that 40 days, and then once again logistic cost will come. So this is the another maybe farm mechanization why is not picking up, new innovations are not picking up, or most companies are not trying up because of this. Maybe the gestation period is too long, cost is too high, and the iteration period is too low. And the tolerance among the farmer is also because the livelihoods is depend on that farmland. He may not be able to accept that experimentation process at that 40 days of window period in case of small and marginal farmers. The large farmer might take a piece of land for an experimentation, but small and marginal farmers may not risk their livelihood part. So maybe that is a reason of risk failures we can see on ground. And and another thing is so when we started to take the feedback, the apart like innovator mindset rather than feedback mindset, and then we taking feedback mindset, then the failures started to seeing the success stories. So we were iterating the paddy weeder among the one of the farmer. So he saw our machine and just told us, why can't we use this in a poultry? So we had zero knowledge on poultry. Then we started to work with them. He has a, and we had a designer also, but he gave the idea like what to put, where to put, how distance to put, so that those chickens are not disturbed, and what he gave the detailed feedback, and we built on him, and he became a first customer. And that's how our first sales journey also started. We started with a paddy transplanter, and that took a very long time because of that gestation period and iteration period. But this and tolerance also very quite high in the poultry farmers, which I found, and that becomes a success story. And later,
This price, what is the price of your machine? He said about the affordability.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
How did you,
So it's a
what the-
electrically based machinery. So our price range starts between 38 to 42,000.
Okay.
Yes, the end user credit is very much important. Now we are the poultry farmers have a credit cards, so they will buy through that. But in case of paddy weeders, we are still struggling to reach out to the paddy farmers. More than 10 acres of land, there is a willingness to buy and adopt it. But less than 5 acres or small and marginal farmers, they are going for renting model. But once again, if the renting model becomes very risky to the village level entrepreneurs to rent it out, because they will not use, most of the time it's abused. So that's the, we need to figure out between the balance and involvement of small and marginal farmers. Like marginally, they have to put some amount of money or some amount of contribution, so that the ownership has to be distributed among the VLEs and the farmers, small holding farmers, so that the machines can be easily scalable and shareable in those regions, because it's used in a 1 or 2
So
days.
this is where the most of the smallholder farmer, technology adoption is about. You're not understood the business model of it, right? How you're going to sell it, how to sachet this thing. So then they will be able to do that. That's why Ramu has been trying this model of farmer producer companies been introduced in the country, is about, can we have a scale of economies, right? When people come together and FPO could buy this and then start utilizing it, right? So that's why many of the thousands of FPOs in the country today, some of them are moved into the input model, right? They are now collectively buying fertilizer, collectively probably buy some of these technologies. So this is one way that entrepreneur need to figure out, is about what is the best way to take it to the market. We cannot just say that, okay, they can't afford and that's how probably I'm out. Then what happened? They end up moving to the people who can afford, then who will be 10 plus acres, 15 plus acres. So the original problem where you started off with. So this is what he said is about this Ignite is a program by the NIF, National Innovation Foundation, run by Anil Gupta in IIM Ahmedabad. Every year they'll put out a challenge about some of the things. There's one of the challenge about the drudgeries of women. That was a challenge that year, because the women are bent like this for 6 hours doing the transplantation. They want innovations coming out to solve these problems. So that solution was, the problem statement is for the women kind of replace or probably provide them alternative for them. But now what is happening is about the affordability problem is not solved. So this is where about the innovation alone is not enough. We need to understand the psychology of our customer base as well, that how that innovation should be taken to the market. Otherwise, it could be a brilliant idea, as you mentioned that, right, 1,000 sensors and all that, put it all great work in your college lab, but you don't the field, it's miserably failed. Thank you, Prajwal. Yes, please
Yeah.
go ahead.
How easy or difficult is it for the established players like sort of Mahindra to copy your product and scale it up much larger?
Yeah, we have a patented, but there Mahindra and Mitsubishi is a they are developing. Mahindra Mitsubishi has the joint collaboration in India, so they are manufacturing paddy transplanters. But the key differentiator which we want to try to solve is adaptability easier among the farmers. Currently, these machines are sold in the government schemes. Individually, there are very less individual farmers purchased and practicing these mat formats, and but most of the done through an government or the any organization doing that, like 8,000 acres, 10,000 acres. Beyond that, they are also, they need what they call farm soldiers. They are representing growing mats and delivering it. But it ultimately comes because India has 433 lakh hectares, and they are serving 8,000, 10,000, or 20,000 hectares. Also, it's a quite less. So we are focusing on the larger part. So that's the key differentiator we are working on it. Yeah.
And they are
It's a
what
very
model?
simple
The India model or MAT model that Mahindra is working on?
mat.
See, that's the problem. So easily available. Take the Korea model, Israel model, put it up. But this is what about solving for India. So and I have found the problem, put it up, motivate engineers to solve it, so that they solve it. This is available there, but it had changed completely the system of how we grow pad. Yeah, great, thanks.
Thank you.
So now we'll talk about the drone thing, right? Thanks a lot. Yeah, give them some.
So it's not basically for any panelist in particular, but just a thought. Whenever we do an assessment or just basic understanding of women livelihood
Yeah.
or women empowerment in the rural area, it leads to agricultural engagement.
True.
But then the identity of a farmer would always be associated to a man mostly.
Yeah.
Now, while these activities, which were mostly women dominated, like sewing, harvesting, everything, are being replaced by machines. So the machines will be again owned by men. So while on the one hand we are scaling up the agriculture, in certain level the women empowerment, the only ways for the women to get certain empowerment goes down.
Yes. So that is why there is NRLM is there, National Rural Livelihood Mission. It is mostly about making women entrepreneurs. So Karnataka alone, there are 30 lakh women entrepreneurs trained by World Bank. So we did a program at IM Bangalore, the Swalambanai. We picked up 40,000 of these women, and we did 180 women. They came to the campus. We did a program on purely on Kannada. It's about making the micro entrepreneur. So that is absolutely very valid, because we need to start moving at that as well. So we are removing them from the drudgery, but that means that we need to give them some livelihood as well, so they could buy the machine and rent it out. The village level entrepreneur could be a woman, right? So this there is a project Udyogini in Jharkhand. So they work on lakh. So they train one women entrepreneur in every village. So they taught her accounting and everything. So she would collect all the lakh and then call the buyers to buy it from there. So we have to align with that as well. So that's what when I mentioned of the RUTAG centers, so we're aligning with NRLM. So we're taking these women entrepreneurs. So when unfortunately on most of the NRLM projects are all we joke about, it's about papad, pickle and petticoat, right? So they're trained on mostly these three areas. So now we are exposing them to technologies. So you can probably take up a sugarcane machine and start providing that service, right? There are a few women entrepreneurs. There is a entrepreneur in Shimoga. So she's make this paper cups. What do you drink tea? So there's a vendor from Bangalore buys from a village. So she hired like 3 women there. They make the product. So that's what now we are doing is about tech. Need to go there so that yes, Peter.
So just on another side of that, in Odisha, we have a project called Participatory Machine Development. So there we're looking at all the technologies, how to make them gender sensitive. So women can
excellent,
actually,
very good.
So they are participating in helping us design every machine that gets put into implementation.
Very nice.
That is gender sensitive.
Awesome,
So
fantastic.
that's another approach.
Excellent. So the other one, this is a very good point he brought about gender, and also he mentioned about the word TRL. TRL is what NASA uses in terms of about is the technology ready for market. So that's what unfortunately that's the only definition we have in our institution about defining the technology thing. So that kind of again the another reason about fail miserably what you mentioned. In a lab we did a fantastic model, it failed miserably on the field. So this part of this initiative that we've learned why this thousands of technology, we put this platform, we engaged farmers, we discussed, but still the adoption is not there. So we now developing the technology for India. IIT Madras is working on it. It's called VRL, Village Readiness Level, right? We just finished the few round of it. If anybody is seriously working on technology on the ground, you could probably give inputs to the draft. So just reach out and I'll connect with the team that working on. So that's the other part is about ensure that the technology developed the institution, is it village ready? Right? Is it gender focused? Is it what is it's going to replace somebody? What happened to their job? Right? And how? Just send me an email. Yeah. Or naga.farm. My website. So now Devika is going to take you on a drone. Yeah, Devika.
Yes. Hi. My name is Devika Chandrasekharan. I'm the co-founder of Fuselage Innovations. Fuselage Innovations starts our journey in 2020 July because my co-founder He's here, Chandrasekharan. He completed his BTech with some backlogs, and but he has an amazing project
Is
that
that him
got,
without the beard? No? No, no. Okay.
but he's having some good project with we got wide publicity in that project. That is an underwater drone. But we coming from an agriculture background family, and after 2017-18 flood, we got some issues in our farm, and farmers in our area stopped farming, and we thought to convert this underwater drone to agriculture drone. Then we started our journey. So we have done some projects with farmers, and we got wide publicity. We validated our technology with agriculture universities, and media's featured us. Then the real problem starts because we only have some drones, only 1 or 2 drones, and that much only covers 500 acres. But we got a lot of inquiries up to more than 20,000 acres. We got inquiries. We couldn't full finish the that project because he is the one person he is going to spray. He covers almost 100 acres per day, and another 2 employees are there. But we got a lot of inquiries from farmers, and we couldn't accomplish that orders proper because we due to the infrastructure we only have 2 space in Kerala Startup Mission, and infrastructure, equipments, manpower, of course, money. So this is one of the failures. And another thing, in 2021, we selected for the UNDP Acceleration Program. That's a program for tribal sectors. So in hilly areas like in Idiki, in tribal sectors, we worked with tribes in tea plantations. We work with them. We introduced them our drones, and we providing a service, like a precision based service of 300 rupees per acre. We are providing a service of 300 rupees per acre for them, and we introduce our UAV practices to them, and we provide a profitable solution. While using drones, they got a impact yield hike of 30 to 40% and reduction of agriculture input into 70%, and they got 600 rupees per acre in terms of profit. But we couldn't finish that project. We couldn't continue that project because in hilly areas drone have some problems in terrain issues and power line issues. Drone got crashes many times, and limited. Normally we cover 40 to 50 acres per day with a drone, but in that area we can cover only 10 acres per day. So these feasibility issues, terrain issues, we can't continue that problem. And this is our third failure. Like, we have an agriculture drone with DGCA certified agriculture drone, that is a quadcopter, and which is having India's highest flying time, that is 25 minutes in small category drones. And we designed this drone in our facility itself, and we manufactured this drone in our facility itself. It's almost a make in India product. But we this, thank you. This can cover 1 acre within 7 minutes, and precise follicular spraying is possible. But we failed to market this product, and that's the main thing. And the after effect is we failed in every government tenders because there is a misconception in the market, like hexacopter is the best drone. That comes with 6 wings, and government agencies preferred hexacopters for their spraying. So we failed to create an awareness between the government agencies and farmers ecosystem that the specialties of quadcopter. These are the specialties. These are the designs. These are the impact we are making. So in our office we have morning meeting about 10 minutes, and meeting start this we lose one more tender today, like that. So this is one of our another failure. And we conduct farmers training programs because nowadays farmers started to purchase drones. We sold almost 100 drones in India, and farmer need to take license for flying these drones. So we are planning to set up some RPTO, that is remote pilot training organization. But then we can provide a license to farmers directly. Nowadays, we only provide training and we get another RPTO for taking license. But we need to take an RPTO license because we feel like we have a fear to attempt the RPTO licensing certification process because we need to get DGCA license. Like from civil aviation, we need to take the license. In for a single drone, we took almost 1.5 years to take a license process, and we almost all the day we uh, that days are we sleepless nights. So we failed. That's why we are. That was a nightmare for take another certification process, and we failed to complete the processing. We failed to complete the suitable area. We because for setting up an RPTO, we need to take a green zone area, and we identified area that is a green zone, but after 2-3 months that become a red zone again. So we need to find a green zone again. So and fear of appointing high paid trainers, this is another failure, and this is our fifth failure. And we started our company in 2020. Now it's become 4 years, and we took a loan of 7.5 lakhs from Bank of Baroda. And then last year we crossed a turnover of 5 CR, and this year we are looking for a 10 CR turnover.
Awesome.
And but still we have a fear to attempt huge huge investment projects, like because nowadays bank is ready to give loans up to 10 CR, but we have fear like how to pay the overhead expenses, how to pay the charges, monthly EMIs, what if we took a loan of this much amount, how can we pay back, all these issues. And one more thing, we have coming from very lower middle class family, and we don't have sufficient backups, like including in earlier days people are asking me which IIT or which IIM. We are coming from normal engineering colleges and normal government schools, so we don't have we have that lack of confidence too. So even though we face lot of failures, but we are still running for a good future. So hopefully, thank you.
Awesome. Nice visuals, yeah, very good. Yeah, good. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we have interns from IIM.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I'm Gudanka. I'm talking from working for a state government. I mean, I can relate everything what you're telling. From State Institute, I'm a director for State GS and UV Center. I also look after agriculture in my state. So, yeah, more or less, whatever issues you're telling me, drones are correct. In fact, I am also trying to register the first RPTO in my state. It's been 2 years, I'm not able to do, even if my CM has written a letter to the.
So what is the challenge? Why it's taking time?
What partially I agree with you. Registration of drone won't take much time. I
The
was able
train.
to do it in a very, very short period. But on the other side, registration, complete process of RPTO is taking more time because we don't have trainees, licensed trains. In the entire Northeast, we don't have trainees. And DGCA, for some reasons, that training slots in any centers are not getting opened up. Unless someone certified and one of my staff becomes a trainee licensee, you cannot make my RPTO function.
Okay.
But on the other side, the drones registration is quite easy if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And this the other challenge which you are telling, you are able to fail the tenders. I'm having other challenges. I'm loading tenders. I don't get any what do you say?
Apply. Hey.
People, right
Okay.
people.
Yes.
I
Yes.
get
Yes.
only one fellow who knows who invent things like that.
Nice.
And I mean, as part of my state institute, we try to promote.
So you have a green channel. Which state is this? You said?
I'm from Meghalaya.
Meghalaya. Awesome. Yeah, Meghalaya. Can you go to Meghalaya?
Yeah.
Okay, done. Yeah.
No, I mean the problem.
So
is
you
that
have green
the
channel for
procurement,
startups,
right?
is it?
The
No
procurement
no
is a
tender.
big
No
window.
tenders. Is
Sorry?
it? For startups, no tenders.
No, we do. I mean, that's
Acha,
what
acha.
every
Oh.
now and then we float tenders.
Acha, acha. Okay.
Drones.
Well, some states have this below 50 lakhs. You have green channel for startups and all.
So we can work out based
Uh-huh.
on the requirement and
Yeah,
we do this stuff.
right, right.
The problem is we advertise in the national newspapers also.
Yeah.
When I say national newspapers, there are hundreds of national newspapers.
Understood. Correct.
The same way when I advertise, she may not see my paper. So this is
Okay.
how people.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is the problem is neither of government nor of this
Ah,
is the
Okay.
advertisement industry. I would say.
Yeah.
Even I try to do it from procurement gem.
Correct.
I won't get any.
You're on Gem portal?
Yes.
Yeah. She's on Gem. Go to Meghalaya next. You have a question earlier, no? Yeah.
So it was not specifically to the generally on what
Yeah.
Mr. Onkar was
Correct.
sharing earlier. So you talked about affordability of
Yeah,
such
technology,
solutions
right.
and how there's a lack of funding available to the farmers, especially the community. But often we don't. I mean, we often see that the sustainability is an issue because of the operating expenditure that the farmers also have to bear. Like if you install a technology, but the operating cost, the troubleshooting, etc. That's one. And the second, often in like you spoke because you spoke on market. In local areas, the vendor, are hardly available. There's limited saturation of vendors, so they have to connect to say, if I am in Jharkhand, in Kundla district, but I have a vendor from Karnataka. So I mean, so how do you?
So distribution, you're saying?
Yeah.
How? Okay.
I mean, very, very interesting question. So, one is distribution, another is the post-sale service. Because when you are selling the technology, it will get a lot of troubles and you have to troubleshoot at very small windows. So, like Prajwal was saying, his machine works for 40 days in a year. And if he is not able to provide the after-sale turnaround within very short span of time, nobody will buy his machine and there will be a very bad message across the ecosystem. So, I mean, one is definitely that challenges lies in the ecosystem, and there are multiple ways to address that challenge. One is to obviously moving gradually or slowly from one place to multiple places. It is not like you can spread that technology together across country. India is a very vast country. So first challenge you will face, like sir was telling, every 50 kilometers the language changes, the land type changes. So I mean the India is divided in multiple agroclimatic zones. So first you have to test your machine in the actual ground, which agroclimatic zone suits for my technology or for my innovation, whether it is machinery or biotechnology product or anything else. So you have to, move in the market based on the concentration of the customers. Another thing on the post sales and distribution part, definitely, for distribution, you have to collaborate. So, like what I have seen in the ecosystem, collaboration is very rare. Uh, because mainstream market players, mainstream dealers, distributors will never accept you. You have to go by either local pharma producer organizations or some local distributors or some other channel partners. So you have to develop that trust or credibility in a small pocket, and then gradually you will move into the larger area. Post-sale service has always been a biggest challenge for the startups. So there could be multiple ways. One is we are not talking about very sophisticated technological solutions always. So there are a lot of things where you can train the rural youths, rural women, rural entrepreneurs, and through them you can percolate your services within very small span of the time. So for distribution, for service, you can create the network of rural entrepreneurs. And sir has also mentioned about the NRLM. So there are a lot of initiatives where lot of entrepreneurs have been trained. But unfortunately, either those entrepreneurs are working on 2,000 to 5,000 salaries in some non-profit organizations to work as a community resource person, or they are sitting idle. So you have to tap that opportunity if you want to increase your sales and distribution, and if you do not want to fail into the after sales service.
Yeah. Good.
One more thing is that you have to develop the market for that product. Once its utility is proved, then you have to create awareness about the products in the market. Because
Correct.
So definitely,
I approach a bank unless there is a demand from the customer.
Correct.
Bank cannot
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even state governments they are providing subsidy for many missionaries.
Correct.
Agriculture
Yes.
missionaries.
True.
So
So you have subsidy. He said he has subsidy.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have.
Up to 50%
So
sometimes.
definitely, I mean, demand
They
generation
need to have some budget for marketing also. They have to create demand for the product.
So definitely, then I mean, very valid point, because demand generation is very important product. You are not taking the product which is already available in the market, and people have lot of use cases and evidences. So you are taking the product. So like she mentioned, she is taking the drone, which is different from the drone which is already accepted in the market. So she need to convince to their customers, policymakers, and other players in the ecosystem. So similarly, if you are taking any new product in the market, you have to put lot of investment, effort, and innovations on the marketing and demand generation for the product. On your points on the government subsidies, yes, there are a lot of subsidies, but unfortunately, lot of the startups are not able to avail those subsidies because agriculture is typically state subject, and all the states have their own norms to work with the startups as a business entity. Some states are very welcoming, so they will give you, I mean, they will do certain validations, and they will give you opportunity to collaborate and be part of their schemes, whether that is subsidy or that is part of inclusion in the scheme. But there are a lot of states where your trial and validation through their internal local process will take 1 to 2 years, and by the time the startup will not be able to, I mean, the startup
Too
will not
much
have
work.
that threshold of resources.
True.
So like I have taken many startups to the states where state agriculture universities have asked the amount for the validations, which is not possible for startups to pay. So if you are not going through those validations, you can not be part of the state subsidy or scheme.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
Thanks
that
a
is
lot.
also
Yeah.
very challenging.
Go ahead. The last question we'll take maybe. It's already 4. Yeah, please go ahead.
That's a question. So I come from
Yeah.
not this
Yeah.
part of the world.
Thanks.
And just a contribution, I think one of the failures for most of the startups that you run, I attribute it to the venture builders. I feel like the venture builders also do not take a good time to advise startups in the right way in terms of how they're moving. Like for instance, in Africa, we have a lot of companies doing ecosystems, and when you do your background check, these guys are not really making money. I mean, they're getting a lot of incentives from donors and all that. It's more like they're running businesses of just fundraising. But when you look in real sense, when you check on their books and all that, they're really struggling. So I'll attribute one of the failures to the startup just in the venture business, just being open to the entrepreneurs and telling them, this business model at the long run without all these incentives.
If the Mr. Modern are strong, they're not going to sustain. They'll be just living on some government grant. She's my boss. Yeah, last finished now, quick.
I think thanks to all of you.
Yeah.
This session we have been brutally honest
Good.
about the frameworks.
Yeah.
It's quite satisfying. And if I see one pattern that is emerging from our is that gestation period, they want a little more. Right? Manoj was talking to Ravi at that point of time where he said for systemic changes to happen, it takes 15 years.
Yeah.
Now, if I draw parallel with the technology world, then moving from waterfall to agility did not take many years. Chat GPT to 11 models, I think was overnight. People are investing in media, everything happening at such rapid pace. Why is this not happening?
Right. Yeah.
Can the policy create level playing field?
Right.
So that this can get offset and have some kind of monetization.
Yeah. So this all this technology trend, right? We know when the trend starts. We don't know when it started, right? So Vinod Khosla wrote his investor saying that apologizing investing in ChatGPT. I invested some company called ChatGPT. Please apologize. 10 years back. Now it valued 6 billion. So we don't know the 10-year what he went through. So now it becomes successful. Everybody adopting. So that may be not a correct analogy because we don't know the full story of that. There's one part. The second part is about. I always tell what Yunus says, Professor Yunus. Human beings are very good about science fiction, right? We are already living in moon in a Jupiter. There's movies coming up, right? All the rich guys are US want to ditch you Earth and then say Earth is not worth fixing. But we don't have a social fiction, right? How poverty is eliminated. So there's no movie about there's a how am I eliminating poverty in a state, even a imaginary. There is no. So that is one part of it. The second part, what we discussed, I think you summarized. The quick summary is all is about is we have innovations and we need the pain points. So what Prajwal was mentioning is about can I co-develop with my customer. So that is not happening. That is a part which is now evolving from this one. The second is I'll have Manoj talk. And one is about it's a very diverse country. What is working on Bangalore may not work on Jharkhand. So we need to be able to customize. So because most of the entrepreneur today they'll put on online. So everybody will send a query. Today I'm in Bihar. Tomorrow I go somewhere in Jharkhand. So focus on one state, one block. Ensure that you go stay in the block, make it successful in that area, and then scale it up. That does not happen. Yeah, Manoj.
One more thing is that
Yeah.
agriculture is a very sensitive one.
Ah.
Commodity prices are not based upon the demand supply.
We are not gone to the price part. There is a book, one big chapter on price. Please read in my book outside. Manoj, last word from Manoj. Yes. By the way, Manoj is founder of Social Alpha, is one of the partner with this. Yeah.
Who want to do business with poor, right? The small and marginal farmers. They need to change their mindset because historically this whole development sector in this funding community, they have always used this word beneficiary and assuming that you are doing a favor to them by building a product. Right? So a lot of products that I see in my daily life, they will never be accepted because they have been built by people without understanding the problem and the. For example, ChatGPT didn't check with me whether I needed a ChatGPT.
That's
or
a push.
Steve Jobs didn't check with me whether I needed.
Exactly.
You can't use this product push approach.
Yeah. Correct.
They have historically been exploited. The poor, marginalized, and vulnerable communities have been cheated. We have lied to them. We have cheated them through policy, through market, through mafia, through feudalism, through capitalism. Every system has exploited them. There is a lot of apprehension. They are not going to use your technology because you have come from some IIT or CSIR or some
Yes.
You have to understand what is their problem. One, are you really solving that problem? Two, can you demonstrate in a small pilot that you are solving that problem? Three, can they make money and reduce their cost and increase their income by using your solution?
Yeah.
Do you focus on user experience and treat them with dignity? Are you going to tell poor that this is the product you use it because it's cheap versus you are giving them the same user experience that Steve Jobs gives you in the iPhone? Are you worried about user experience and adoption and quality of your product? Poor may be poor, but they are value.
Absolutely. Yes.
For them,
Yes.
adoption of a solution will happen if you can demonstrate you are creating value for them. And that value could be a small incremental value that reduces risk, that increases income, that reduces cost, that makes their life less miserable.
Awesome. Great.
Dealing with poor and doing business with poor requires this level of empathy in product management, design, distribution, financial solutions, post-sales service, and collection. If you don't do that, you cannot do business.
Awesome. Great. Excellent. Great. Thanks, Manoj. Very good. So that's a good wrap up. So we should wrap up now. So take that point. So the end of the day is about invention become innovation when it is commercially successful. We may be a great innovation, but if nobody's buying, gone. So thank you all the best. Bye.